Hello everyone, it's Catherine Sparks here. I am here to talk to you today about the upcoming full moon in Aries on October 1st, a little astrology forecast. So please, if you are interested in this video and in what I have to say, please like and subscribe and even turn on that little bell notification because, yes, the obligatory please subscribe to me pitch at the beginning of every video is very important. It really does help. So I'm looking to grow my channel, and please, please, please like and subscribe. Okay, so it has been a little bit since I made a video, and you know, that's for many reasons. It's a crazy time right now, and one of the things I'm going to talk to all of you about in this video is self-care, and I really have been going within the last few months and taking care of myself, not to mention homeschooling my children, which has been fabulous, as I'm sure it has for all of you. I haven't made these videos. I haven't talked a lot about what's going on in the sky, like I said, for a few reasons. One other one is that right now, with all of the stress, with all of the worries and the action in the world, it's so much. It's so much. There are situations where there's not a lot that astrology can tell us about how to make it better. And in those situations, it usually involves the outer planets that move very slowly, and they're in this, vice grip, and it's going to be months or even years before those things ease. And it hasn't felt to me like coming on here and saying, oh, well, these are the energies that are contributing to this. This is the flavor of the situation. These are the planets involved, and you have to just grit through it for 9 months. Visit my website, like and subscribe, and there's nothing I can really tell you. You know what I mean? Like, there hasn't been a lot to say that you're not already living. So when we look at what's going on in the sky right now, we look at this full moon coming up. Today, we have a shifting aspect. One of these longer aspects, the longer holding energies, is Saturn. And Saturn has been retrograde. So when a planet goes retrograde, it looks like it's moving backwards across the sky, and then it stations. So it stalls and kind of holds still for a minute, and then it moves forward again. It also stations before it goes retrograde. But at those moments where it is shifting direction, where it's stationed, it is very, very powerful. Saturn has been in retrograde for a bit. And today, he is stationing. He's standing still, and he's shifting direction to go forward again. Saturn is the planet of governance, of boundaries, of power structures, and people of power. So he is very much the man, if you will. The other element that makes it a significant day is Mars. Mars is currently in his own sign of Aries, which means he's very hot and very strong. He's also the planet of action. Action, impulse. He is the archetype of the warrior, the archetype of the rescuer and of the person fighting for the good cause, or fighting the dragon. And Mars is very much about individuality, especially in Aries. So it is very much the hero or the warrior versus the ruler that is oppressing, that is, pushing down on everyone. That's the flavor of this square that we have today. And it's very, very, very strong. In a couple of days, on the 1st of October, we have the full moon coming up. This full moon is going to be in Aries. So, in a full moon, the moon is always opposite the sun, right? And the sun right now is in Libra. So this axis, Aries, Libra, the self, the other, me, you, me on my own versus us together as a couple. Librans are very, very attentive to their partners, very aware of what their partners want and don't want, and need and don't need. And they do so often to detriment. They will defer. So if your partner is a Libra and you say, "Where do you want to go to dinner tonight, honey?" They may say, "Oh, I don't care, whatever you want, it's okay, whatever." And they're very lovely and amazing and accommodating, but they reach this point where they realize that they haven't said anything or done anything that they want for so long that they eventually get a case of the fuckets and say, "Well, you know what, I'm out, because I haven't gotten my needs met for however many years or months or days. It's all about you. I'm out." And they flip to that other side of the axis where we have Aries. Aries is about existing. Aries is about individuation. It is about who you are and what you want and what you do. So when the sun is in Libra, which is very much us, and the moon is in Aries, which is very much I, our moon is our emotional body. So our emotions during this full moon are going to be concerned with what we want and who we are and what we feel like we deserve that we're not getting. What we feel like we need that we're not getting. This full moon is very much about, I have the right to exist. I have the right to exist, and I don't have to accommodate. I don't have to accommodate other people. I don't have to, I'm done thinking about how my right to exist interferes with all of y'all's stuff. And that's the flavor of this. It's also conjunct Chiron. Chiron represents the woundedness in us, an essential wound. So when the moon is conjunct Chiron, we know that we're a little bit emotionally sunburned, right? It's like you brush up against us and what shouldn't hurt really does. Like accidentally touching somebody with a sunburn, and they're like, and we're all a bit raw. And, there's something in the energy right now where we will all feel, with this moon, triggered. Whoever you are, whatever issues you have, whatever side of whatever issue you're on, something is going to trigger you this full moon. Something is going to irritate an old wound. The flavor of the wound of Chiron and Aries is, I have the right to exist. I have the right to be as I am. I have the right to be as much or as good as you. This is a source of a lot of the conflict, a lot of the friction going on. every side is saying, I have the right to exist. I have the right to exist. I have the right to exist. But some sides are saying, I have the right to exist more than you have the right to exist. Or my right to do this is more important than your right to do that. So full moon in Aries is really personalizing all of these things. Saying, my feelings, my existence, my needs are more important than yours. Now, on a lower level, if we're looking at this from a lower vibration, yes, that is separating. That is creating polarity. That is creating conflict. You're there with your needs. My needs are here, and my needs are more important. So, and conjunct Chiron, it is a woundedness that lends itself almost to a feeling of victimhood. With Saturn, as we said, this structure squaring our desire for action and impulse and change, which is Mars, that's going to be very, very tempting. All of us. I don't care who you are. I don't care what side of anything you're on. Everybody's going to be very tempted to go into that lower frequency of victimhood. And that doesn't mean that you're not oppressed. It doesn't mean that you have no right to those feelings. However, at its higher octave, Chiron calls us to mend. Because what makes a wound fatal is not being able to close, not being able to mend, not being able to bring its borders and its ends together. And we all live in these little feedback loops right now. You probably are only seeing this video if you take an active interest in astrology, and if you're a certain kind of person, maybe in a certain area of the world, that this may be on your click list. So keeping our focus on healing is very important in this moon cycle. Keeping our focus on bringing together the two sides of wounds. Two sides need to be brought together. Separation only makes it bleed more. We are all going to feel raw. We're all going to feel triggered by someone or something. There are other things going on in the sky that's it makes triggering events very likely. Certain discoveries and disclosures very likely. And we need to put on a brave face. We need to remember that our best chance of progress, of evolution, of raising our frequency is going to be if we focus on collective values, collective assets, collective goals. And we stick to those. What's going to be good for all of us? What is going to serve all of us? What brings us together? What do we all need? What should we all do? Instead of reacting to a specific pain inside yourself, try to think of the bigger picture. Try to think of what will make that bigger picture come into being as you desire it to be. That's the practice of raising your frequency. It is by feeling where you are and feeling what you want and envisioning that, integrating that feeling into yourself and saying, what What frequency do I need to take to get me there? And those actions are the hardest to take when your wounds are triggered and you are most focused on yourself. Because you're not thinking about the future. You're thinking about the past. You're thinking about something that's happened to you. You're putting yourself in this, it's triggering an old wound. It's taking you back in time, not forward. So, what would it look like if things were the way you wanted them? What would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it smell like? What would it taste like? What would it sound like? If the way things were as you wanted them to be, as you want them to be. And focusing on that vibration is how we manifest. And right now, I could go on and on about the things in the sky that are blocking us, that are restricting us, that are making us feel impotent, that are making us feel restrained. I could go on and on. There are a lot of those things. Good news is they'll ease up soon, but they're really hot right now. We are really, really active inside, and we are put in a box. We're not getting out of it quite yet. But the thing about it is if you think of it like an engine, right? The heat inside a box. It creates combustion. It creates something that can drive us somewhere, that can propel us forward. Or it can create something that will blow up. Our ability to determine which of those things we engage with is foresight. If you respond to the pressure of this moment with an absolute need to make it release now, that's an explosion. If you respond to the pressure of this moment with an understanding of how valuable building energy can be, with an understanding of how propulsion works, then you can fill your gas tank. You can make a map. You can know, you can measure how much energy you have to get where you want to go in the future when these restraints are lifted. And I mean, I know which one I'm gonna choose. So this full moon is asking you, which one are you? So I will leave you with that thought, and I thank you for watching. My website is www.catherinesparks.com. I offer astrology consultations, divination, spiritual counseling, and lots of other goodies. So if you feel like checking out my website, please do so at the link below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, because I have to pay tribute to the YouTube gods to be put in your feed. So please do that, and be blessed, be happy, be peaceful, and I'm praying for us all. See you on the other side.